The H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series, presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care, kicked off 2 weeks ago virtually in Guntersville, Alabama. Bo Rarig in the 440 Bucket List Racing 2 entry claimed a thrilling victory in the Southern Cup final heat, taking the lead on the final turn of the final lap. It was a good day for both Bucket List Racing entries. Rarig's teammate Eddie Canfouche finished third overall in the racing, but departed Guntersville with a national high points lead. Today, the racing shifts to the Ohio River and Madison, Indiana, where drivers will compete for the coveted Madison Regatta. There is a long racing tradition in Madison, and Bucket List Racing's Team Orange will look to build on their success of 2 weeks ago. But a strong field of 10 other drivers are poised and ready to take them down. It is the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Today, it's the Madison Regatta, and it is next. Hello again, everyone. My name is Brad Luce, and we are glad to have you along. As he was 2 weeks ago, my broadcast partner today is H1 Unlimited's Tate Meyer. And Tate, it was a big day for Team Orange in Guntersville. Can they repeat here today, virtually, on the Ohio River?
It was a big day for them in Guntersville, Brad. I think they got a really good shot having the defending National High Point E-League champion in Eddie Canfouche and Bo Rarig off his first E-League win in Guntersville. They got a great shot, but they got some stiff competition alongside them today.
They certainly do, and we like to talk about having a full field of race boats, and once again, we've got them. We've got 12 boats that have qualified for our Madison Regatta. Our top qualifier, Matt Johnson, turned in an impressive fast lap in the U98 Graham Trucking American Dream, turned the lap at 1:56.556. That's a good run for Matt.
It was a really good run for Matt. I think he was quoted as saying after the qualifying he's never run a lap that fast here at Madison, so fast field, everybody above 150. Let's get this racing started.
We're going to get it started. Our format today, because it is Madison, we can only run 4 boats on a front row on this race course. So we will have an A, B, and a C section as we go racing today. And before we go racing, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind our listeners, the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care is brought to you by the Spokane Angels and their 3 locations in the state of Washington, in Spokane, Seattle, and Olympia. Spokane Angels, where they wrap community around children, youth, and families experiencing foster care. And by Jesse's Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products in the Northwest since 1998. Tate, I'm ready to go racing. I know you are too. Let's get it going.
All right, we are ready. We're getting a countdown from our officials here. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Ready to go here. It is the Madison Regatta, and it is our Heat 1A. We'll have 4 boats answer the gun here in our Heat 1A. A little bit again about our format. Tate Meyer, we're a little bit different today. Instead of a 5-minute milling period, we're going to have a 4-minute milling period. Right now, let's take an opportunity to look at the boats that are going to compete in our Heat 1A, starting with the U98 Graham Trucking American Dream. He's our top qualifier. It's Matt Johnson out of Port Angeles, Washington. Joining him will be our U1 Bucket List Racing Eddie Canfouche. He's the National High Point leader and the defending National High Points champion. The bright orange boat is trimmed in black. Look for Eddie to have a big day today. Third boat in our heat is the other Bucket List Racing entry, the Bucket List Racing 2, the U440. It's bright orange. It's driven by Bo Rarig. And as we said at the opening, Bo was our winner 2 weeks ago in Guntersville. Rounding out our 4-boat field is the U48 Lake Ridge Paving, driven by Mickey Washburn. The young man out of Pasco, Washington, has got a very competitive boat here. He's looking for a good showing today and an opportunity to improve on what he did a week ago or 2 weeks ago in Guntersville. Those are our 4 boats. 2 minutes and 30 seconds until the start. And once again, here goes our park and start down at the lower end of the race course, Tate.
Indeed, they are. Bo Rarick here, just passing the start-finish line. We got 2:18 until the start of the race. That means 1:18 until the 1-minute gun. The game automatically detects whether a boat is over, and we will get that call as soon as the 1-minute gun expires. But Bo Rarick taking advantage of the park and start. Now Matt Johnson, again, traditionally does not like to do the park and start. He opts for a flying start, but those that opt to do the leapfrog might have a little bit extra difficulty because we're only running the 2-mile Madison course, and the backstretch is not that long. So to complete that overlap, you got to have a little bit longer of a straightaway than we do here in Madison, and the inside lane is going to be very, very key on this short course.
Yeah, and the other part of that equation is going to be that if you do try and leapfrog up the backstretch and run very hard, to your point, it is a shorter backstretch. You're going to find yourself at the top end of the race course even earlier than you would on the course a couple of weeks ago. So there you see two of our boats down there in the lower corner. It is Bo Rarick sitting in one. Right next to him is Mickey Washburn. That's the white boat. Here comes Eddie Canfouche. We're inside 10 seconds to the 1-minute mark, Tate. Keep an eye on that exit pin.
4, 3, 2, 1, mark. It looks clear. We're getting an official word from our official. Bo Rarick jumped the gun. He will go around and pick up that 1-minute buoy and make himself legal. It doesn't look like Eddie Canfouche is going to have overlap on Mickey Washburn up the backstretch. That's what I said. You need a bit longer straightaway to get the legs stretched on these unlimited hydroplanes to get that overlap. Looks like Mickey Washburn will have lane 1, Brad.
Yeah, it looks that way. He effectively and was able to defend his inside lane position. And as we talked about with that short straightaway, 30 seconds still until our start. So these guys are going to be crawling when they come off the top end of the race course. Keep an eye on Bo Rarick. We're going to look for him to come up behind the field. And as we say it, there he is in the background. He, at the end of it all, might have more boat speed than anybody coming off the top end of the course. But it is Washburn in 1. It's Canfouche in 2. Matt Johnson's going to be in 3. Bo Rarick's going to come on the outside. We are inside 5 seconds. We are 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. And we are racing here in Heat 1. Of our Madison Regatta, and it is a clean start, and it was indeed Bo Rarick who had the speed and the timing on the outside. The problem he's got now is just an awful lot of speed off to his left. But look at that, Tate. You got 4 wide going through the lower corner. Great sight there.
They're deck to deck to deck coming off the exit pin of turn 1. What a great sight here in Madison, Indiana, the virtual Madison, Indiana. It's Eddie Canfouche with the advantage at the backstretch, but it looks like Matt Johnson is starting to close on his outside. Now, these short turns and these narrow turns here in Madison have some difficulty to get around, and Mickey Washburn that you see had a little bit of a trouble on the backstretch, Brad.
Yeah, he had a problem holding lane 1 up there at the top end of the race course. It's nice to be in lane 1, but boy, if you're behind everybody, you can assure those guys outside of you are going to make you hold that lane 1. Mickey, unfortunately, could not. So our race is out front, and it is virtually bow to bow right now between Canfouche and Matt Johnson. Matt showing that top qualifying speed was no fluke. He is hanging right with Eddie Canfouche as we are on lap number 2 of 3 up the backstretch. And look at Matt fly, that red, white, and blue hydroplane. He's trying to run down Eddie, but that's going to be a tall order, Tate.
Absolutely. The acceleration is key here in Madison, and the top speed you don't really reach in these unlimited hydroplanes until way down the back stretch, or the front stretch. So Matt's going to have to really get the acceleration out of the corners if he wants to pass Eddie on the outside as we hit the final lap.
Yep, they cross the start-finish line. End of lap 2, start of lap 3 of 3, and Eddie Canfouche in that bright orange and black bucket list racing hydro is starting to open up a little bit of water on Matt Johnson, but the operative word here is a little bit because Matt is still right there. One tick or one hiccup by Eddie Canfouche, and Matt would be right there to pick up the pieces. So up the backstretch, Eddie Canfouche looking for a first-place finish here in our Heat 1A and claiming the all-important 400 points. I'm assuming at this point, Tate, Matt Johnson might think discretion the better part of valor. There's nothing wrong with 300 points in your first heat of the day.
Absolutely. We got a lot more racing here to go, so Matt's going to settle for third place, and Eddie Canfouche, or second place, Eddie Canfouche, is going to take the win.
There he is. Eddie Canfouche, Bucket List Racing, will come home in first place in Heat 1A. Matt Johnson will take a very strong second place. Then it's going to be Bo Rarick coming home in third place. and Mickey Washburn in the 48, the Lake Ridge Paving. Here he comes off the top end of the race course. He will come down and finish in 4th place. So first to Eddie Canfus, second will go to Matt Johnson. He gave it a go, but that's a tall order driving around Mr. Canfus.
Indeed it is, and Canfus is well-versed on the inside lane as he joins us in the announcer's booth. Brad, Eddie, great job starting the day off with a victory.
Oh, thank you. That was a great heat. Good way to start the day.
You had your right side rear view mirror full of red, white, and blue the whole time, though. Matt was not going to let you go.
No, he put a great fight up on the outside, and I had to do everything I could to keep him behind me because he's got some serious speed today. I'd watch out for him, but looking in those mirrors made me feel a little patriotic. So,
well, it's a good start to the day, as you said. We got a long way to go. We'll look for you later on in the day, but 400 points, you got him in the bank, Eddie. Good start.
All right, thank you very much. One last thing, got to thank, of course, all our sponsors today. We have Washington Foster Care Community. We have the APBA, we have Jesse Stitches and Atomic Screen Printing. Without them, we couldn't do this series. I also have to thank Kelly and Sharon Stocklin for Bucket List Racing for letting me drive their boat. And big announcement today with Dave coming back to drive my boat, but in the real world. And one last thing, happy birthday, Rachel. Oh. Shout out there.
That's a good call, Eddie. Never miss that point. You heard him mention the American Powerboat Association. H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association, head over to www.apba.org. That's apba.org. And just like that, Tate Meyer, I think we are about ready to go racing in our Heat 1B. They come fast and furious here on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana.
Indeed they do. The lap times are very short, and the heats are over pretty quickly. So we're going to get this day in the books here pretty soon. We're waiting a countdown from our officials. We got a thumbs up. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark.
It is Heat 1B. H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. We are coming to you virtually from the Ohio River as it flows past the community of Madison, Indiana. It is the Madison Regatta. 4 boats set to answer the bell here in our Heat 1B. We'll see if we get competition like we had in our Heat 1A, but let's take this opportunity now to look at the boats that will be competing in our Heat 1B, starting with U9. You ride along with strong racing entry number 2, Nick Kish, 32-year-old man out of Rochester Hills, Michigan, just outside Detroit. Nick Kish drives the U9 Strong Racing number 2. Piston power, everybody loves it. TJ Zerwinski is behind the wheel of the U3 Go 3 Racing entry. TJ Zerwinski, the 50-year-old out of Tonawanda, New York, representing the East Coast here, along with Eddie Canfus, who we saw in the previous heat. TJ drives the Go 3 Racing piston-powered U3, the Miss Ace Hardware. Also in our Heat 1B, U11, the J&Ds. J&Ds is driven by Ben Dowell. Ben is 33 years old, originally from Tacoma, Washington, now calls home to Nashville, Tennessee. He'll drive the Chartreuse and Carnival Orange U11, the J&Ds. Rounding out our 4-boat field here is the U7, the bright red Boitano Homes Spirit of Detroit entry. Scott Przbilski out of San Diego, California will handle the driving chores today. Scott's been a busy man, as we say each week during this racing. Scott is the creator of this particular racing platform. 4 boats in the water, ready to go in our Heat 1B, just inside 2 minutes, Tate. And there they are, parking down there at the lower end of the race course.
Indeed they are. They're parked and ready to go. It looks like Nick Kish is trying to go around Ben Dowell here. I always say this is one of the most exciting parts of the heat before the heat even starts. It's the jockeying for position. It's trying to get the mind games pulled over your opponents here. and placing yourself in a good place to try to get the 1 minute pin, be legal at the 1 minute pin, and then get that inside lane at the backstretch, because as we saw in 1A, the inside lane is very, very crucial.
And look at Ben. He's just sitting there just inside Nick Kish. And Nick pulled his foot out of it and shut the boat down. Ben said, I will too. I just want to keep you right on my outside. Now, we'll watch here what TJ Serwinski does as he comes up behind the field now in the piston-powered Go3 Racing. There are 5 seconds until the 1 minute mark. Watch that buoy, Tate.
2 seconds, 1 mark. It looks legal from here. We're getting an official word. Clean score up from our officials. Now TJ is going to have a carload of boat speed up the backstretch, but again, I think Ben's going to hold him off.
Yeah, he's got to get pretty much a full rooster tail before he can move in on Ben Dowell, and that is not going to happen. So lane 1 is going to be held by Scott Przybylski in the U7, the Boitano Home Spirit of Detroit. Lane 2 will go to the 11 J&Ds with Ben Dowell. Serwinski is going to be in the 3rd lane, and keeping an eye open here for Nick Kish in Strong Racing. He will come up behind the field here and will go to the outside. Still 20 seconds until our start. But again, Tate, he may be the one to hit the line with the most boat speed, being that far behind everybody.
He might get that opportunity. Lane 1 does you no good if you don't get to turn 1 first, as they come off the exit pin first with about 5 seconds, Brad.
Yeah, we're 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark. It looks to be clean. We'll get the official word. Strong Racing. Nick Kish on the outside had the boat speed and the timing, but he's on the far outside with a lot of speed off to his left, and he's getting gobbled up by Ben Dowell in the middle of the pack. Dowell's going to get down to the corner first, slid out a little bit wide. That opened the door on the inside for Scott Przybylski to gain some ground, but now you've got those 2 boats literally deck to deck down the backstretch. Another great piece of racing here, Tate.
Great piece of racing. Ben Dowell flies it a little bit more, try to get a lead out of the backstretch into turn number 2. It was a clean start, so we have a clean start and a clean turn 1 as Scott makes the better turn here out of turn 2 to complete lap number 1.
Yeah, now Przybylski staying right on the buoy row. Great corners right there, but he has got a right side rear view mirror that is full of Ben Dowell, who doesn't want to let him go. There's 400 points at stake here. 300 for second place, so there's an additional 100, but it is, as we mentioned previously, it is early in the day. You don't want to lose the race in the first heat. You can't win it here, but make a mistake. You could possibly cost yourself the day by missing the final heat, making a mistake. So I don't think you'll see Ben push too hard here, and he may just settle back and take those 300 second place points. But right now, Scott Przybylski showing an awful lot of boat speed. He's also showing that he had great timing marks at the start, and he is able to hold that line in lane 1 through the corner, Tate.
He is holding his good good turn through lane 1, and it's hard to do it, Madison, just like it was in Guntersville last week. You see that sort of rope of a wake hitting Scott right there as they go into turn 1. He's got to straddle that wake and stay away from the buoys at the same time to make himself, or keep himself legal, I should say, as they hit through turn 1, the exit pin. Ben Dowell still about a rooster tail behind, but like you said, Brad, 300 points is a good start to the day.
It certainly is a good start to the day. Look for Scott Przybylski to complete the top end of the race course here. Got to negotiate that corner, and as you were talking about, he's got those wakes up there to get through. We saw what happened a week ago. You can get bit in these corners as Dowell comes hard into the corner, pushing hard to make a run to the finish line against our leader, Scott Przybylski, but he's going to come up a little bit short as Scott Przybylski in the U7 Boitano Homes Spirit of Detroit. The bright red boat goes across the finish line right there, but a very strong second place finish will go to Ben Dowell, and the J&Ds. 3rd place, I believe, will go to Strong Racing and Nick Kish. It will indeed. And our 4th place finisher will be TJ Serwinski. Great racing again in our 2nd heat of the day, this time courtesy of Scott Przybylski and Ben Dowell. I think we've got Scott in the announcer's booth already. Scott, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, it's the same thing I said to Eddie Canfush in the previous heat, except maybe the colors were a little bit different. But you had a whole lot of bright color in that right side rear view mirror that entire heat. Ben Dowell was not going to go away.
Oh yeah, he was right on my hip the whole race. I was struggling with the wakes a little bit too, so I was trying not to bounce out in his way. But
And
Understood.
we were talking about that during the heat, that those wakes are exacerbated and they're a little bit more difficult given this narrow course here in Madison.
Yeah, they like to stick in lane 1 here because the course is shorter. But yeah, I'm glad I could pull out a win there. I was struggling last race in Guntersville, so.
Well, you're off to an awfully good start today, so 400 points toward making your way toward that final heat. We'll look to talk to you on down the road, but go get a bottle of water. We'll see you later in the day. Congratulations, Scott.
All right, thanks. Also just want to give a shout out to the sponsors, Angels of Washington, and the boat sponsor, Boitano Homes. Thanks for supporting us. All right, see you next heat.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Scott Przybylski, ladies and gentlemen, young man out of San Diego, a first place finish in our Heat 1B. And just like that, it is time for our Heat 1C, the final heat of our first set of heats racing here. We have a C section in our racing because of the 12 boat field and only running 4 at a time. Tate, jump in when you've got a countdown. We're ready to go. Heat 1C.
We're ready to go. We're clicking them off here in Madison, Indiana, virtual Madison, Indiana. And we're trying to get a countdown. We're trying to get the virtual drivers strapped in. And we get the go-ahead from our referee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Heat 1C.
Heat 1C, just taking this opportunity to once again remind everybody. Got a couple of boats getting pretty close together right there. The Strong Racing entry and that of the Miss Home Street got very close together coming out of the pit area. Reminding our fans that we are running on a 4-minute clock here before the start. So we're already down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It's the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series, presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Let's take a look at the boats here in our Heat 1C. A lot of powder blue and trimmed in white. That means it's the U6, the Miss Home Street. Kelsey Best, originally from the Pacific Northwest in Redmond, Washington. Kelsey now calls home in Mesa, Arizona. He's 33 years old. The Miss Home Street would like nothing more than to win the race here on the Ohio in Madison, Indiana. The other boat that is based out of Madison, Indiana is the U91 Goodman Real Estate. The boat is driven by Tim Johnson of Pasco, Washington. Tim, 24 years old, a team member of the U6 Miss Home Street. Tim would also like to have a good showing here on what can be considered at some level home waters for the Goodman Real Estate in the U91. The boat is black, trimmed in gold. The predominantly red boat. If you followed boat racing at all for the last 10 years, you know the bright red means the U12 Graham Trucking. Quentin Miller will handle the driving duties today. He's 26 years old. He's from Mercer Island, Washington. This boat has had historically some very good days and some difficult days on the Ohio River. But today, Quentin Miller's hoping it's one of those good days. 2 minutes and 12 seconds until our start. Rounding out our field is the U8 Strong Racing. Nicholas DJ Miller takes over the driving duties today. He's 23 years old. He too calls Mercer Island, Washington home. He's driving the Strong Racing entry boat number 1, the U8. DJ Miller handling the driving chores. 1 minute 50 seconds, Tate, till the start. Look at Kelsey Best just get in front of everybody and dive to lane 1. See if he just doesn't shut it down there at the entrance pit.
I think it will. I'll shut it down here for about 20 seconds. Again, just like last week, the games are kind of similar when they're trying to get to a 1 minute score up. They'll start to light them off here at about 20 seconds. Now, you can't completely shut your boat off in the game, so you're going to have to time your troll down the river at about 2 or 3 miles an hour. As you can see, Quentin starting to pick up his rooster's tail along with DJ, his brother, on the outside in the U9 Strong Racing. I'm sure Carson is watching DJ closely this weekend, trying to make sure he gets good points for the National High Point Championship. As we come up to the 1 minute pin with 4, 3, 2, 1 mark. It looks clean from here. We'll wait. Clean score up. Again, Brad, this backstretch is just too short for a leapfrog maneuver. I think Kelsey's going to have lane 1. But again, he's got to stay away from the buoys and manage those wakes that tend to hang around there in lane 1 as they hit the entrance pin to turn 2 with about 40 seconds.
Yeah, Quentin Miller was going to give it a shot to try and get a leapfrog on Kelsey Best, but to your point, the short straightaway didn't allow him to do it, so our lanes are set now. Once you get to the entrance pin at the top end of the race course, Kelsey Best is going to be in lane number 1. It is going to be Quentin Miller in the Graham Trucking, the 12, the red and black boat there. He is going to be in lane number 2. Lane number 3 is going to go to DJ Miller, and on the outside, it's going to be Tim Johnson in the 91, the Goodman Real Estate. Coming up now on 10 seconds until our start. The boats come off the top end of the race course. Now you want to get a lot of boat speed and hit the line wide open. We are 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark, and we are racing here in Heat 1C. It looked good from here, Tate, and they are blasting down to the lower corner. It is Quentin Miller and Kelsey Best side by side as they get to the entrance pit.
They're side by side. Kelsey gets to turn 1 first, makes to lane 1 have his advantage here, and it is a clean start as they head up the backstretch, Brad.
And again, we have our 2 boats out front, literally tied together. And as we've seen so many times, that black and red U12 Graham Trucking just flying literally down the backstretch. And if you're going to go fast and run down Kelsey Best into Miss Home Street, you're going to have to pack a lot of air underneath your hydroplane. That is what Quentin Miller is trying to do. But so far, Kelsey Best driving the U6 Miss Home Street. The boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana, and you can probably hear them cheering inside that cockpit. They love their hydroplane here.
They do love their hydroplane here in Madison. The 13,000 or so citizens of Madison, Indiana, as Kelsey Best goes up the backstretch and pulls about a rooster tail lead from Quentin Miller up the backstretch. If you remember back to last year, Brad, Kelsey Best had a great day here in Madison. He battled Peyton Hopp all day, traded back and forth heat wins as they come off the upper turn here in Madison area, the bridge turn, the Madison-Milton Bridge. He's got about a rooster tail lead, maybe more than a rooster tail lead now as he starts to stretch his legs. Again, he's got to contend with those buoys in lane 1, or the wakes in lane 1, and the buoys on the far inside as they hit turn 1 here in Madison. Now, it looks like Quentin went to the inside. He's going to try to get inside of Kelsey's rooster tail and try to use the inside to his advantage as we see the rest of the field come around the lower end of the race course. But Kelsey Best and Quentin Miller lead the field up the backstretch.
Up the backstretch here, it is the final lap of our Heat 1C. That was a great move there by Quentin Miller. You can't say the guy's not driving as hard as he can, trying anything to get around Kelsey Best and that Miss Home Street, but it looks like he's going to settle for second place, or he's going to have to, as here comes the U6 Miss Home Street, Kelsey Best. He will claim a first place finish and 400 points in our Heat 1C. I was a little surprised to see Quentin dive to the inside like that. I know he's aggressive and he wants to win, but it is early in the day. I think he, at the end of the day, may be happy he sat back and took those second place points for 300 points. Quentin Miller in the Graham Trucking will come home in second. Kelsey Best driving the U6, the Miss Home Street.
Kelsey joins us in the announcer's booth now. Kelsey, you got lane 1. You got to turn 1 first in lane 1, which is very key. How'd the boat feel?
Yeah, felt pretty good. Thank you, guys. Just glad to be back here racing. Madison's always fun. I really enjoy driving this course, and obviously driving the 6. It's extra special.
Were you aware that Quentin Miller took a dive to the inside on lap number 2 down at the lower end of the race course?
Yeah, Brad, I was aware. Lane 1 can be tough, especially as the race goes further along. A lot of the wakes kind of pool up there, so I was honestly perfectly fine with him being there, being able to kind of dictate the race course. So yeah, it was a still good heat. Again, with the wakes this year, there's been a slight change in the game that you can't see them as well when you're out there on the water, and it's going to make it really interesting today.
Well, I know you were a winner here a year ago. It meant a lot to you. I know you would like to do it again. You're off to a good start. We'll look for you later on the day, sir. Have a good rest of the day racing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And a special thanks to Angels of Washington for sponsoring the event, Home Street Bank, Citizens of Madison, Indiana, for, again, participating and giving me the opportunity to race here, as well as to Jesse Stitches, Atomic Screen Printing, and the APBA, and to you guys as well. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you, Kelsey. Good luck the rest of the way. And as he mentioned, our H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series is brought to you by Spokane Angels. Spokane Angels, where their mission is to walk alongside children, youth, and families in the foster care community by offering consistent support through intentional giving, relationship building, and mentorship. Spokane Angels, with 3 locations in the state of Washington, in Spokane, Seattle, and Olympia. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish since 1990. And Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. Tate, that is our first heat sections of racing, heats 1A, B, and C. Just like that, we've turned the field upside down. We're ready to go racing in heat 2A.
We're all ready to go racing here. We're going to take a beat here, take a little bit of a break, give the drivers a chance to reset themselves, find their spotters for the next heat, and we will be right back here, virtual racing here in Madison, Indiana.
Our drivers get ready for our Heat 2A, B, and C. We'll take this opportunity to remind our fans out there that the American Powerboat Association, H1 Unlimited, is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association. The APBA is the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association or to become a member, and they would love to have you, go on the web to www.apba.org. That's www.apba.org. The American Powerboat Association. We don't race without those folks. They are the governing body, if you will, of boat racing here in the United States. We cannot race without them. We're glad for them to be on board here along with our other sponsors. We've got boats appearing to be coming out on the race course here for our Heat 2A. Tate will... We do. We're 3 minutes and 35 seconds until the start of our Heat 2A. We'll jump on board here with our 4 boats that are scheduled to go in Heat 2A and give you a rundown. Let's start first with Bucket List Racing 2. Bo Rarig, young man out of Monroe, Washington. He was a winner 2 weeks ago in Guntersville. He drives the U440 Bucket List Racing 2. Bo would love to back up that Guntersville race with a second win in a row here in Madison, Indiana. The boat is predominantly orange. Make it Tennessee orange. Bo Rarig, Bucket List Racing 2. The bright red boat trimmed in blue and white is the U7 Boitano Homes Spirit of Detroit. Scott Przybylski handles the driving chores. Scott, out of San Diego, California. He is 35 years of age and handles the boat very, very well. Here is the Strong Racing 2 entry. This is boat number 9. There's 2 of them here, boat number 8 and 9. This is boat number 9, Nick Kish, out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. The 32-year-old will handle the driving chores here. Had a good run in his first heat, wants to do even better here in his second. He would love also to claim the first victory for the new racing team, the Strong Racing family. Nick Kish, the U9. Rounding out our field, we should have a lot of red. There it is. It is red, black, and trimmed in some silver. The U12 Graham Trucking. Quentin Miller from Mercer Island, Washington, does the driving. He's 26 years old. He's been driving this boat for a couple of years now. He knows it well. He's had success in this boat. And anybody, if any experience at all with H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing, knows if you've got the Graham Trucking in your heat, you're going to have your hands full. Quentin Miller, 26 years old, out of Mercer Island. So looking at the clock now, Tate Meyer, 1 minute, 40 seconds until our start. Everybody parking down there at the lower end of the race course. We've seen the value of that inside lane, so it's definitely worth fighting for.
It is worth fighting for. We have all 3 of our winners from lane 1 here so far. We're hitting their 20 seconds here. You see the 3 boats lagging back a bit. And then we have Scott Przybylski in the 7 here at the entrance pin, about 15 seconds to go. Coming up on the 1 minute pin. We'll see if anybody can pull off the leapfrog, Brad. I don't think they're going to be able to, but we'll check it out here at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Looked clean to me. Clean score up from our referees up the backstretch, Brad. Quentin Miller's going to lay down the accelerator pedal, but Madison, 2 Mile Madison course is just too short of straightaways here to make the leapfrog work for you.
Scott Przybylski in lane 1 was able to defend the position by staying right with Quentin Miller and not letting him gain the necessary overlap to move into lane 1. So now it's a matter of slowing down with 30 seconds now until the start. Scott Przybylski, the U7, he will be in lane number 1. Quentin Miller in the Graham Trucking U12 will be in lane number 2. Our other 2 boats will come up on the outside of him. Bo Rarig is going to be in lane 3 in the 440. There's the bright orange boat there. And then we will look for our 4th boat to come up hard on the outside. That's going to be Nick Kish in the Strong Racing boat. We're inside 5 seconds. We're 3, 2 seconds, 1, mark. And once again, it's Kish on the outside in the Strong Racing entry, but he's got a lot of boat speed, but he's way on the outside, and it's going to be tough for him to get through this corner and come out with a lead. He's got a lot of speed off to his left as they're going 4 wide through the lower corner down there. Bo Rarig was able to hold his lane in lane 3. I thought maybe he was going to get wet. He had to pull his foot out of the throttle a little bit. As such, Bo Rarig has dropped back to 4th place. But right now it's Quentin Miller down the backstretch in lane number 2. He's got a bit of a lead over Scott Przybylski. Right now, Tate Meyer, we got a boat in lane number 2 that is holding on to the lead.
He's holding on to the lead. He's got to hold Scott tight here in turn 1 as he hits the exit pin. And Scott's going to have a very, very distinct advantage in lane 1, a shorter radius around the corner. But as long as Quentin can get to the turn first, Brad, he holds a major advantage over Scott.
Yeah, he is, and Scott knows that's what's coming. He's going to have to hold that line through the corner. Watch him here. Great view from on top. Quentin's holding him in tight, but look at Przybylski. He started to get out a little bit into the rooster tail. I thought he was going to spin, but he didn't. He was able to hold it. That got really close in there, Tate, and now the boats are flying down the backstretch. You see both guys putting a lot of air underneath those 2 hydroplanes.
Putting as much air as he can without blowing over and trying to handle that rough Madison race course as Scott gets to the turn 2 second again, but he pulls even with Quentin as they exit the turn. He might have enough to pull ahead of Quentin as they get down to the first turn as they complete lap number 2 and start the final lap, Brad.
Boy, this is the final lap, and if this one finishes up the way the first two did, we're going to have something close to a photo finish. On the outside, it is Quentin Miller in the Graham Trucking. He's going to try and hold Przybylski in tight. He does, but look at the game creator. Stay tight on the buoy row. He's able to hold the line, and they're virtually dead even down the backstretch. Scott flies his boat, so does Quentin, and now Quentin's opened up about a boat length and a half, maybe 2 boat lengths as far as a lead up the backstretch. This upper corner is going to determine who may win our Heat 2A, and this is a dandy, Tate.
It's a dandy indeed, Brad, as they come off the exit pin. Looks like Scott's going to pull ahead a little bit. We'll see if Quentin Miller can stay wide with the acceleration as they come off the last turn, as they come down to the start-finish line. I cannot tell who finished first. Our referees say that Quentin Miller pulled off the Heat victory here in Heat 2A. What a heat, Brad.
Yeah, I think he did get him, and he got him right at the very end. I was thinking, no, it's Przybylski, and then inside literally that last buoy, I think Quentin Miller was able to claim the victory. That is about as close as it gets. That just boils down to doggone good racing. And Tate, I know I speak for all our fans and you and I. That's why we enjoy this. Get a couple of boats out there and hook them up side by side. Nothing better.
Nothing better than a deck-to-deck duel in H1 Limited Hydroplane Racing, Brad. Quentin won that heat by 8/100ths of a second over Scott Przybylski. We've had a good final heat in real life with Andrew Tate and Jimmy Shane, but I do not think it was that close.
It wasn't that close, but boy, oh boy, and I don't know what did you say, 1/8 of a second or whatever it was. I don't know how that translates into distance, but I don't need to know. I just know it was darn close, and it was sure fun to watch. Great job. Hopefully we will get Quentin here up in, or excuse me, get Quentin up here in the.
What was that? That was fun.
You have a good time with that one? Did you like that one?
I couldn't see him. He was too close. I had no idea. I just had my spotter, my brother spot for me. Got to thank for him. He was just one boat length. I got to thank Graham Trucking and all of our sponsors, Jesse Stitches, Washington Angels, and Atomic Screen Printing. That was a lot of fun. Hope everybody enjoyed that one.
Well, I can tell you, we as the announcers did, I'm sure the fans did. Tate had the call as they came to the finish line, and about halfway down to the start-finish line, he says, I'm not going to be able to call this one. He was throwing in the towel there. It was that close. Great racing. Congratulations. Go catch your breath, because I got a hunch we're going to go do it again real soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. I hope we can do it again.
There you go. Winner of our Heat 2A. Just like that, we're ready to go for our Heat 2B. Our drivers have had their break between Heats 1 and 2. The boats for Heat 2B should be in the water. Tate Meyer will jump in here as soon as he has a countdown in our ear, and we'll get started on that 4-minute clock.
Waiting for the
Reminding everybody, we are here in Madison, Indiana, and we are chasing the Madison Regatta Trophy, and it is a gem on the circuit, one that everybody would like the opportunity to win.
All right, Brad, coming up on the 4-minute gun here in Madison, Indiana. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
4 minutes to the start of our Heat 2B. It's the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. It is the 2021 virtual Madison Regatta. Let's take a look at the 4 boats that are going to compete in our Heat 2B, starting off with the U11 J&D's. Ben Dowell behind the wheel. He calls Nashville, Tennessee home, but he's a native of the Pacific Northwest, residing prior to Nashville in Tacoma, Washington. Ben Dowell, U11 J&D's. Here's the strong racing entry. This one is the U8, driven by DJ Miller. He calls home to Mercer Island, Washington. He's 23 years of age, driving for the Strong family, the new racing team here in 2021. He is doing a good job of representing Strong Racing. DJ Miller, it's the U8. Here's the U48 Lake Ridge Paving, Mickey Washburn. This is the white boat. Can't miss it on the water. It's got the black and white checkered tail. The boat is predominantly white, as you see right there with Lake Ridge Paving on it. Mickey Washburn from Pasco, Washington, 42 years of age, will handle the driving chores here. U48 Lake Ridge Paving. And here is another one of the hometown favorites. The boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. It is the U-91, the Goodman Real Estate. The boat is driven by Tim Johnson. It is black, trimmed in gold. It is absolutely gorgeous on the water. Tim also calls Pasco, Washington home. He is 24 years of age. Those are our 4 boats, 2 minutes and 15 seconds to the start. You see Tim going down toward the lower end of the race course. I'm sure he's going to encounter some traffic as he gets down there, but he does not appear to be slowing down. Oh, now he does. Let's see what he does as he gets to the corner. And he's going to see Ben Dowell already parked down there along with DJ Miller. Tate, they still got to kill almost a minute.
They got to kill almost a minute. And again, if you jump the 1 minute pin here in Madison, you got to go all the way around, then probably just hit a flying start on the outside. So DJ looks to be in good position here. Ben Dowell got lane 1 last time he was in a heat, or lane 2 I should say, but about 30 seconds to the 1 minute pin, 10 seconds now until they start to pick it up. They've already started to pick it up because they're a little bit further away from the entrance pin that you normally hit the accelerator pedal at. Got 15 seconds now. We'll see if DJ Miller can hold on to lane 1 up the backstretch. We're going to see Tim Johnson come around, try one of those patented Johnson flying starts. We have 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Clean score up, Brad, up the backstretch, and I don't think DJ is going to have any trouble keeping lane 1 right now.
Nope, nobody's going to come in and take that away from him. In fact, he could pull his foot out of it here and save himself a little bit of real estate, as all of the guys kind of gave up on that one quickly when it was very obvious nobody was going to get the jump and have an opportunity to leapfrog. So Nicholas DJ Miller, the young man out of Mercer Island, is going to claim lane number 1, but he's still got 30 seconds to kill. Lane 2 is going to go to Ben Dowell. And then we'll watch for Mickey Washburn. About halfway up the backstretch, he pulled his foot and dropped way off the pace. And I thought he was just going to sit back there and claim lane 3. But now it looks like, yeah, Tim Johnson was able to move over on him and get into lane 3. So it's going to be Washburn on the outside. We're coming up on 6 seconds until the start. These guys are early. You want to be at the line with a lot of boat speed when the clock strikes 0, and it struck 0. We are racing here in Heat 2B of our Madison Regatta, and what a start right off the gun here for DJ Miller. He was on the line when the clock struck 0 with a lot of speed, and he's in lane 1. If he can drive clean, Tate Meyer, it's going to be tough to get around him.
It's going to be very tough to get around DJ in any race course. I have experience battling him, and he is a fast shoe in Hydro Sim. Ben Dowell about a rooster tail behind up the backstretch. DJ's got to contend with that wake that tends to stay in lane 1, Brad, but looks like he's got a really good start and a really good advantage as they head into turn number 2.
Yes, he does. And there you see Ben Dowell in a solid second place. And again, it's going to be how hard is he going to try and push to run down DJ Miller. There's 300 points here. Yes, there's 400 at stake for first place, but you want to get points. That's how you make your way into the final. Our top 5 boats in points after all our preliminary heats will be on the front row of the final heat. So before you can win the Madison Regatta, you've got to get into that final heat and get yourself on the front row. So right now it's a decision that Ben Dowell is having to make, but right now DJ Miller flying down the backstretch here in the U8 Strong Racing boat, looking really strong. There you see exactly what Ben Dowell sees as he looks up the backstretch toward the famous Milton Madison Bridge at the top end of the race course. And you see how hard it is to navigate that corner. And you can also see how DJ Miller has control of that corner. He can determine what arc is taken through that corner because he has the lead and he's on the inside. That is a tall order for Ben Dowell. But we come down to put 2 in the books. We start lap number 3. I don't think anybody's catching Miller. It's right now a case of whether or not DJ Miller makes a mistake or not, Tate.
Yeah, DJ Miller tends to not make too many big mistakes here in his Hydro Sim racing career. And you saw when we were on board with Ben Dowell, he tried to keep the boat a little bit wider out in maybe 3 and 4 and try to arc it in and keep the RPMs up. We'll see if he does that here in the upper turn as a one last ditch effort to try to get past DJ, but again, 300 points, Heat 2B, he might settle for those 2.
Coming down to complete Lap number 3 of 3 in our Heat 2B. It is going to go to DJ Miller driving the U8 Strong Racing. He will take the checkered flag. Second place will go to Ben Dowell driving the 11 J&D's. That boat is awfully fast today. He may have something to say before this day is done. Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson's going to come home in third place. Mickey Washburn will come home in fourth. And the Lake Ridge Paving, the white boat with the checkerboards on the fairings. Good racing once again in each of our heats. Tate Meyer, we have had very, very close racing up at the front of the pack. Sometimes the better racing is in the back of the pack, but today it's been right up front.
It's been right up front all day, and that's how we like it. DJ Miller's in the announcer's booth now. Congrats, DJ. You got lane 1. You held it up the backstretch and prevented the leapfrog. How'd the Ohio River feel?
Felt very rough. I mean, we only got 4 boat heats, but like this course is so small and tight that there was a fat wake exactly where I was trying to run my line. Like it was in the ideal line every lap. So I had to enter those turns at some odd angles, which gets pretty rough. These Madison turns are nasty, just like real life.
Well, and certainly Ben Dowell was not going to let you go. He was going to make you earn it, so you had to keep one eye on your right side rear view mirror, the other on those waves in the corner.
Yeah, definitely. I could hear him behind me the whole time, and I had my spotter, keeping me updated, and he was starting to close a little bit those like last 2 laps. But at that point, when you're out front and you're in 1, it's kind of about just minding the gap. You don't have to push it super hard. You just got to keep the gap big enough that they can't catch you in time.
Well, it's a good way to keep your day going. A first place finish, 400 more points will put on your tally for getting your way into the final. That obviously is the end game, young man. We will look for you later on in the day. Congratulations.
Yeah, and really hope to put the Strong Racing boat in the final today. This is a cool opportunity to drive for them. And also shout out to our sponsors, Washington State Angels Foster Care, Jesse Stitches, Atomic Screen Printing, and the APBA. And yeah, I would love to try to get a Strong boat the victory today. See if we can get the first win for this new team.
That would certainly be something special. Well, you're on your way, and so we will look for you in our third section of heats. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Tate.
So Tate Meyer, with that, we are to the final preliminary heat of our second section of heat racing here. That be Heat 2C. Then we'll get into 3A, B, and C. But right now it's Heat 2C. 4 boats ready to go here. It's the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care.
Coming up on a countdown to our 4-minute gun here in Madison, Indiana. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
4 minutes. 4 minutes to the start of our Heat 2C. I'm looking forward to this one because we've got Eddie Canfouche driving the Bucket List Racing, the U1, the bright orange and black boat. You see it right there on the screen. He's going to square off against our top qualifier. But let's take a look at the 4 boats that will compete. The orange and black U1 Bucket List Racing, Eddie Canfouche. The young man is only 18 years old. He calls home to Grand Island, New York. He was a winner in the first heat earlier today. We'll see what he can do here in Heat 2C. He is a hungry driver. He is our defending National High Points champion. Came into the day with the National High Points lead. He wants to hang on to it. Eddie Canfouche, Bucket List Racing. The powder blue and white, the hometown favorite, the boat owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. It is the U6 Miss Home Street. Kelsey Best drives it, and he drives it very well. He hails from Mesa, Arizona. He's 33 years of age. No place Kelsey would rather win than right here in Madison, Indiana, in front of the hometown folks. Piston Power, everybody's favorite, the U3 Go 3 racing the Griggs Ace Hardware. The boat is driven by TJ Serwinski. He is from Tonawanda, New York. One of our older drivers at the tender age of 50 years of age. He from Tonawanda, New York. Eddie Canfouche from Grand Island, New York. A couple of New Yorkers going to go at it here in our Heat 2C. TJ Zerwinski will look to pull a big upset here and win Heat 2C. This boat has been really fast today. It started with qualifying when they laid down the fastest lap Matt Johnson said he had ever run here in Madison, Indiana. The result was 100 points and the top qualifying position. It is the patriotic red, white, and blue. It's the U-98 Graham Trucking American Dream. Matt Johnson out of Port Angeles, Washington, is 30 years of age. This boat's a quick one, Tate. And there's some quick ones in this. All four of these boats are very, very fast. This could be a dynamite heat.
This will be a dynamite heat, Brad. We got a lot of very quick drivers in HydroSim, very experienced drivers in HydroSim in this heat. Kelsey is our defending race winner here in Madison. He won Madison last year. Eddie is our defending Tri-Cities winner and H1 E-League national champion. Matt Johnson and TJ Sherwinski are both experienced shoes in E-League and HydroSim as well. So 20 seconds now as we change camera angles down to the first turn, and you see Kelsey and Eddie starting to spool up here. They got 15 seconds. Again, it's pretty standard here in Madison. The score procedure, 1 minute buoy. You don't want to get leapfrogged, and Matt's got a lot of speed on the outside as 1 second mark. The 1 minute pin has come and gone. Clean score up. Matt Johnson might have a little bit of advantage over Eddie. He might take lane 2 from Eddie, and I think he will, but he's not going to get lane 1 from Kelsey, Brad.
No, he's not going to get lane 1, but he did get lane 2. It got very, very close, and Eddie Canfouche was doing everything he could to protect his investment in lane number 2, but eventually he had to give it up to Matt Johnson. So Matt in the red, white, and blue Graham Trucking U-98, the American Dream, will be in lane 2. Kelsey Best will have lane number 1 in the U6 Home Street. Eddie Canfouche is going to move to the 3 lane, and on the outside is going to be TJ Sherwinski. I still think this one shapes up to be a really, really fast and competitive heat. Coming up on 10 seconds until the start. The boats are all up at the top end of the race course. The name of the game in hydroplane racing: put your boat on the start-finish line when the clock strikes 0 and have it at full song. We're 1 second mark, and we are racing. It appeared to be a clean start, and Kelsey Best from lane number 1 had boat position, boat speed, and open water, and he's got about a 4 or maybe 5 boat length lead as they get down to the lower end of the race course in turn 1. Coming through there 4 wide, got 3 of them sandwiched into those first 3 lanes. It's tight, but I'll tell you what, Matt Johnson was able to hold on to lane number 2. Eddie Canfouche did everything he could in lane 3 to hold the young man in tight, but Johnson was up to the challenge. But both of them are looking way out in front of them at powder blue and white. The U6 Miss Home Street and Kelsey Best. He's got about 5 or 6 boat lengths, but keep an eye on Matt. Oh, he got wet, and he couldn't hold lane 2 at the top end of the race course, Tate. He had to slide outside Eddie Canfouche.
I was thinking Eddie's going to have an advantage at the backstretch because he tends to have more straightaway speed than anybody else on this game, bar maybe Quentin Miller and DJ Miller. But Matt Johnson was in a hallway, the proverbial hallway here in hydroplane racing between two rooster tails, and it's hard to maintain a consistent arc here in Madison on HydroSim. It's very lumpy, as you heard a lot of our drivers talk about. It's very, very hard to get that skid fin hooked up and not let it unhook with a smooth corner. So you see exactly what happens when your skid fin comes unhooked as Eddie tries to push Kelsey here and tries to contend for the win. But again, Heat 2C, he may not have enough time and may sit back and collect 300 points. We'll see, Brad.
Yeah, I was about to make the comment here that this is starting to look like a little bit of a parade here, more so than we have seen in some of the other heats. But then I thought, if you think this is going to be a parade, I don't think you've ever met Eddie Canfouche. He only knows one speed, that is wide open. He only knows one outcome of any heat, and that is win, and he is not done with this one. Kelsey Best had better watch his P's and Q's here as they come down to complete lap number 2 and start the final lap. He is going to have Eddie Canfouche and a lot of bright orange in that right side rear view mirror. Up the backstretch, Canfouche is going to take one last run, coming hard on the outside. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Kelsey Best out of Mesa, Arizona, and it looks as though the boat owned by the hometown citizens of Madison, Indiana is going to claim another victory here as he crosses the start-finish line. That'll be 400 more points for Kelsey Best in the Miss Home Street. Second place will go to Eddie Canfouche and the Bucket List Racing. He will collect 300 for that. Matt Johnson will come home in third. And TJ Zerwinski will come home in 4th place driving the piston boat. And usually the way it goes, Tate Meyer, sometimes the best looking race on paper sometimes doesn't necessarily translate to the water. Good racing, just not as tight as we've seen in a couple others. But I think everybody came out of that knowing, if they didn't already, the importance of that inside lane. It is key.
Inside lane was absolutely the key here in Madison, Indiana. And like you said, the heat draws can look good on paper, but you still got to run the heat and get the right lanes assigned. And we don't sit back and just determine the heat winner without running the actual heat. It's racing, and anything can happen, Brad. So we got Kelsey up in the announcer's booth again. Kelsey, good job holding off Eddie in lane 1.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a tough heat. Obviously, heard you just talking about heat draws, and I'm here to tell you, in this E-League, there's no good or bad heat draw. Every single one is tough.
Well, you guys are putting on a tremendous show today. I know everybody is enjoying it. I know it would mean an awful lot to you to back up last year's win on the Ohio River with another one. You got all those fans in Madison, Indiana cheering for you.
Yeah, Brad, I'm trying my best. That race, that heat was tough. The wakes got in my way a little bit, and Eddie was able to close up there. I think that's going to be a topic all day.
Well, score some points in the 3rd section. You'll be in a very strong position to find your way in the final heat. That is the end game. Kelsey Best, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll look for you in the 3rd section.
Yeah, and thank you, and quick shout out to Scott Przybylski, game creator. He's been my spotter for these first 2 heats. He's been lucky for me so far.
Very, very good. All right, we will move on to our 3rd section of heat racing. It is the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. It is the Madison Regatta coming to you virtually from the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana. And our racing today is brought to you by Spokane Angels Foster Care. With 3 locations in Spokane, Seattle, and Olympia, Washington, Spokane Angels, where they wrap community around children, youth, and families experiencing foster care. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. You've heard many people mention the American Powerboat Association today. H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association, visit www.apba.org. That's www.apba.org. And also by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery in the Tri-Cities, Washington, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. It's been a great day of racing so far, Tate Meyer, and we are not done yet. We've still got 3 more preliminary heats before we determine our final field.
Got 3 more preliminary heats and a lot of opportunities still for a lot of our drivers. We're taking a look at the scorecard right now, and our total points as we head into the final. Kelsey Best leads the way with 870. Scott Przybylski with 780. Eddie Canfouche rounds out the top 3 with 750. And Quentin in the 700s as well. Quentin Miller driving the U12 at 730. DJ Miller at 685. Ben Dowell at 630. And Matt Johnson at 625. So only 6 boats get into the final with that provisional heat moving forward the trailer position into the final. So there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position here in the final flight of heats here in Madison. And again, with so many boats, so many flights of heats, an extra flight per section here, there's going to be high point scores, Brad. 400 or 300 points goes to 3 different people. So once we click these Heat 3A, 3B, and 3C off, we're going to keep an eye on these point totals and see what they do heading into the final. But we are ready for a countdown here for our 3rd flight. Let's get this rolling, Brad. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
4 minutes. 4 minutes to the start of our Heat 3A. This is our third section of preliminary heats. We will run section A, B, and C. This is the last opportunity, as Tate was just mentioning, for all of our boats to go out and collect points here and find their way into the final. For those of you who may be new to this type and this format of boat racing or racing in general, we talk a lot about points. That's how we determine the boats that get into our final field. But once in that final field, it is a winner take all final. Let's look at the 4 boats that are going to compete here in Heat 3A. You are on board right now with Fast Eddie Canfoosh driving the Bucket List Racing, the U1, having a good day so far. He is our national high points leader and our defending national high points champion. Just needs to score well here, and he'll be in the final heat. Here's Kelsey Best. We've been talking to him a couple of times today. Kelsey Best driving the Miss Home Street, the boat owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. Kelsey, as I said, and you just heard him, would love to win here driving the U6 Powder Blue Miss Home Street. Third boat in our field is the red, black, and trimmed in silver U12 Graham Trucking, Quentin Miller. This guy is a very accomplished shoe, if we might use that term here in our E-League racing. He handles the driving chores of the Graham Trucking to U12. Look for him to score well here. Quentin from Mercer Island, Washington, right outside the window of Eddie Canfoosh there. And here's a guy who's on the bubble, Matt Johnson. You just mentioned it, Tate. He is number 7 in points. The top 6 get into the final. The young man from Port Angeles, Washington, driving the 98 Graham Trucking American Dream. He was and is our top qualifier for today. He needs a good finish right here. Look for Matt to really air it out with everything he's got. Inside, 2 minutes to the start. We got 3 boats buried right there together. Keep an eye on Matt Johnson. You said he doesn't like to do this park and start very much. He's going down to mix it up with everybody now, although he may be leaving, Tate.
He's leaving. He's vacating the premises. And you saw when you did that rundown, Brad, Kelsey, Eddie, and Quentin both messing with each other, trying to get that in all-important lane 1 and then jockeying for position here. Now, when they're jockeying for position here, there is no 5-boat overlap needed to hop in front of somebody on this Hydro Sim game. So you can pull up to somebody, pull up right behind them, and box them in if you want to in lane 2. We'll see what Kelsey does here, trailing the field about 20 seconds. We'll see if he tries to box Quentin or take Quentin's lane away, or see if he tries to hold on to lane 3 and hit a good start when the clock hits 0-0 at the start-finish line. Well, we got 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Clean score up from the referee. And Quentin Miller has a great acceleration out of the corner. He might have overlap. He does have overlap to lane 1 if he wants it. He's going to take it from Eddie.
If he's going to take it from Eddie, and it looks like Eddie's going to get lane 2. I thought maybe Kelsey Best on the outside would have really pinched over on Eddie Canfoosh. I thought Eddie was at risk there for at least a moment of not only losing lane 1, but losing lanes 1, 2, and 3. But Eddie's going to settle into lane number 2. So Quentin Miller's going to be in lane 1. Eddie Canfoosh is going to be 2. Kelsey Best is lane 3. And the guy who needs points, Matt Johnson, he's going to have to do it from the outside, Tate. Again, I use the term a tall order, but he's really got a tough one. That's a lot of speed on his left.
A lot of speed off to his left, and we see the leapfrog maneuver work once here, Brad. We'll see if it pays off for Quentin Miller as we're 3, 2, 1. Mark, we'll see if we have any jumpers as they head to turn 1. Matt Johnson jumped the gun, Brad.
Yeah, he had to push it. He had to push it. He was coming down with a lot of boat speed on the outside, and you saw him pull his foot just as he approached the start-finish line. He knew he was early, but he was on the outside. He really had no other choice. He had to push the start to beat these guys from the outside. You saw he moved over on Kelsey Best. Kelsey Best is now running on the far outside, but our leader up the backstretch, Quentin Miller in the 12, the Graham Trucking, running strong down the backstretch. Our second-place boat is Matt Johnson in the Graham Trucking American Dream. He is second on the water, but he jumped the gun and will have to run an extra lap. Second place is the orange and black boat running just to the left of the red, white, and blue one. That is Eddie Canfoosh driving Bucket list racing. And I think at this point, he is just going to let Quentin Miller go. He will find his way, Eddie Canfouche, into the final with a second place finish here. But he's got to stay clean because he's got Matt right out to his right side. And as you like to say, Tate, he's driving down the hallway. Eddie Canfouche.
He is driving down the hallway, and you saw Kelsey Best in the first turn go outside and stay outside. He's going to collect 300 points, it looks like here, because Matt Johnson jumped the gun. That's probably going to be enough for him to make the final, Brad. So he's probably going to collect 300 here. He's already the top point getter as we coming into this Heat 3A. It looks like Eddie is trying to stay clean outside of Matt Johnson's Rusha tail and trying to chase down Quentin. We'll see if he can do that.
So there is our leader on the final lap. It's just a precarious position right there for Eddie Canfouche, just to the inside of Matt Johnson. And as he goes up the backstretch, Eddie Canfouche is thinking, Matt, just give me a lane. I'll hold it. Give me a lane. You see it's getting tight in there for him. But so far, he's able to navigate his way through it. He's going to come off the corner and come down and finish third on the water, second overall. But our winner is going to be Quentin Miller, driving the U12, the Graham Trucking, as he comes up the backstretch for the final time. The boat there to the right, the red, white, and blue. Matt Johnson, Graham Trucking American Dream, jumped the start, and so he will run an extra lap. Second place is the orange and black boat, but our leader and winner of Heat 3A, Quentin Miller, U12, Graham Trucking. He was our top point getter coming into the third section of heats. Didn't do anything to change that standing. 400 more points. Second place will go to Eddie Canfouche. Third will go to Kelsey Best in the Miss Home Street. Fourth to Matt Johnson and the U98. Quentin Miller is having a whale of a day. Tate Meyer, he looks really strong.
He does look strong heading into this final heat. That's probably going to qualify him for the final as I take a quick peek at our score sheet here. So those top three finishers in our Heat 3A, Brad, Quentin Miller, Kelsey Best, and Eddie Canfouche are now all locked into the final as we have Quentin Miller into the announcer's booth. Quentin, good job. How'd it feel?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was, a little bit worried with that heat. There's a kind of a tougher draw there, I thought, with Eddie, always with Eddie and Matt and Kelsey. Kelsey and me seemed to draw each other a lot, and ended up getting lane one and hit the start and felt pretty good. Again, got to thank sponsors and owner Rob Graham and Angels of Washington and Jesse Stitches and Atomic Screen Printing. Really just happy that we can do these and hoping we're putting on a show for everybody.
You guys are putting on a really good show. That was Heat 3A. You got a little bit of a break now, the last two preliminary heats, and then we're going to run a Connie before you have to run in the final. I know that's the one you really want to win.
Yep, that's the one that matters. I usually don't remember the people that won the prelims. It's usually who won the final. So hopefully we can go get the final heat win. And that's the plan here.
That's the plan. But I checked with the other drivers. There's 11 guys that have the same plan. So that's why we race it. But a great job. You'll be in the final. We will look for you there. Good luck, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Quentin Miller, he will be in the final. Look for that black and red boat to compete for that inside lane. He's good at getting it, Tate Meyer, and when he does, he knows what to do with it.
He does know what to do with it, especially if he has the advantage into a turn. So again, we have Quentin, Kelsey, and Eddie locked into the final. TJ Serwinski and Mickey Washburn are locked into the consolation heat. So we'll see them battle each other here in Heat 3C. So Heat 3B, we don't have anybody locked into the final here. The U7 Boitano Homes, the U8 and the U9, both strong racing boats, and the U91 Goodman Real Estate. So we'll see how each of these combatants approaches this heat coming up here, Brad. We're getting a countdown from our lead official. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 4 minutes, Brad.
4 minutes. 4 minutes to the start of our Heat 3B of the virtual Madison Regatta here. It's the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. I may ask for a little bit of assistance on this one. Tate, we got both strong racing entries in this one. Sometimes they can be a little bit difficult for yours truly in the colorblind challenge thing here. Which one have we got
this
here?
This one is the U8, DJ Miller.
That's DJ Miller driving Strong Racing U8. You just made a great call that we don't have anybody in this heat locked into the final yet. So this could be a very competitive heat. DJ Miller will look to get Daryl and Vanessa's Strong Racing boat number 8 in the final. DJ Miller. Here is the U7 Boitano home. Spirit of Detroit, Scott Przybylski, young man out of San Diego. He's had some good luck and some difficult luck so far today. He'll look to put a good one together here and find his way into the final heat. Here is the other Strong Racing entry. It is Strong Racing boat number 2. The boat number is boat 9, the U9. Strong Racing 2. Nick Kish, 32 years of age, out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. He will look to get his boat into the final heat. And he's got a tall order to get there, but a first place finish would certainly help him out. Tim Johnson driving the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. The boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. He would love to put on a good show here for the local fans and put the 91 out front. Tim Johnson, Goodman Real Estate, the U91. You see him right there going up the backstretch. Now we look at our boats beginning the park and start procedure here as we're 2 minutes and 7 seconds until the start. You see boat number 8. That is DJ Miller sitting on the inside right now, just to his right and behind him. Scott Przybylski in the 7, predominantly red Boitano Homes. 54 seconds until the 1 minute mark. Here comes Tim Johnson and the Goodman Real Estate up behind everybody, and behind him, here comes Nick Kish in the Strong Racing 2 entry. You heard those drivers talking about the fact that they would love to get a victory here for Daryl and Vanessa Strong and this new racing team. Well, before they can do that, they may have to get a victory here in our Heat 3B. Coming up on 25 seconds to the start, we've heard Tate Meyer talk about that's about the time these guys start to accelerate and defend their position to that 1 minute mark. Boy, you saw Kish go by with a lot of boat speed on the outside. He is going to have to come all the way around behind everybody. And now the guys start to power up inside 10 seconds. Tate going to be close. It looks like DJ's going to be able to hold that inside lane, at least to the 1 minute buoy.
To the 1 minute buoy right there. 1 minute looks super clean. We'll see if Scott Przybylski has the boat speed on the outside to take overlap on DJ Miller. Now, I thought Nick was going to help his teammate there, DJ, try to get lane 1, kind of play a cat and mouse game. He had to go up and around the race course. Looks like he's coming over. That's going to be a call for the officials to make up the backstretch. We'll see if he had overlap.
That one was really going to be close. We will wait to hear from the officials. We will call them as they are on the water, as if there has not been a problem, but I'm sure the officials
Brad, we have a
going to take
one-lap penalty on the U7. Scott Przybylski, not enough overlap, making the leapfrog.
Not enough overlap, so he has taken himself basically out of our Heat 3B by a lane infraction during the leapfrog coming up the backstretch during the 1 minute period. So lane number 2 will be DJ Miller driving the U8 for Strong Racing. We're 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark, and we are racing it on the far outside. Nick Kish in the Strong Racing U9 has got a ton of boat speed, and he's way on the outside, going to try and tie the field and take him to the turn. He's got a big lead getting down there, but it's his teammate that's right behind him and now on the outside. So Kish was able to move over. He now finds himself in lane number 2. Nick Kish out of Rochester Hills brought a lot of boat speed to the start-finish line, Tate, and he's got the jump on the field.
He's got the jump on the field, and he can run a very, very wide race course, provide a wider race course for his teammate here in the U9, and prevent Tim Johnson from making any sort of comeback. Tim Johnson was very late on the start, late on the accelerator pedal coming up to the start line. So Nick Kish leads lap 1.
Nick Kish looking really strong. He stayed out of trouble, didn't get involved in any of the argument over the inside lane, and he may be our first boat to win a heat here from the far outside. The boat looks extremely strong, but right now, the 2 boats from the stable of Daryl and Vanessa Strong are running 1-2 in our Heat 3B here on the virtual Madison Regatta in Madison, Indiana on the Ohio River. It is Nick Kish running in first place, DJ Miller running a solid second place as they go up the backstretch here, basically halfway through our Heat 3B. Good line through the corner. And our 2 Darrell Strong, Vanessa Strong entries looking solid here in our Heat 3B. It is Nick Kish with a full rooster tail over teammate DJ Miller. Got to be a proud moment for Strong Racing right now, Tate.
Proud moment for Strong Racing as they run 1-2. DJ filling in for Carson Kelly this week, who had the unfortunate accident and got caught up the backstretch of last 2 weeks Guntersville Hydrofest. So 1-2 for Strong Racing headed into the final heat, and wrapping up Heat 3B with 300 and 400 points for the 8 and the 9. We'll see if DJ can maybe catch him, or maybe if they're staging a 1-2 finish, Brad.
I think they're going to stage a 1-2 finish regardless how they come across the start-finish line. But it is going to be Nick Kish from Rochester Hills, Michigan, claiming the first place and 400 points that go along with it. Second place is going to go to DJ Miller driving the U8, a 1-2 finish for Strong Racing. And as we said there on lap 2, a proud moment for that racing team. They are new to the 2021 H1 Racing Series, and we are very glad to have them on board. They just took a 1-2 finish in our Heat 3B. Scott Przybylski.
Scott Przybylski is going to run an extra lap, and I just got word from the officials that Tim Johnson hit a roller up the backstretch and blew it over. So Scott Przybylski is going to take home third place points here as long as he keeps it on the water and comes across the start-finish line, Brad.
Yeah, and these points are critical, so we will keep an eye on him here as he runs up the backstretch. He could end up in third place after having the unfortunate incident. Although he was trying everything he could to get that inside lane, he knew he needed 400 points. He was willing to take the chance. He took the chance, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. He got called for the penalty, but he's going to come home right now and pick up third place points. That's 225 points that will go to Scott Przybylski and the U7 Boitano Homes Spirit of Detroit. I think I heard Nick Kish. Did he join us here in the broadcast booth? Nick, can you hear me?
I am here.
How about that? A victory for Strong Racing, the U9, and not only a victory for you and your boat, but a 1-2 finish for the Strong Racing entries.
Yeah, well, I think I secured my spot for next week. I was getting a little worried there. But hopefully they keep me on now.
Nothing like 400 points to make sure the seat is still yours, right?
Yeah, and this is my first ever win for points on this game, so feeling good.
I'm thinking that feels mighty good. Congratulations, young man. You drove a great race. You had a boat in your right side rear view mirror, but lo and behold, it was your teammate, and you got the victory here with an incredible flying start on the far outside. You nailed that start.
Yeah, and I just want to send some thank yous out. Jesse Stitches, Atomic Screen Printing, Washington Angels APBA for their sponsorship, Strong Racing for trusting DJ and I out there to race for them today. Should probably thank my parents and my brother for getting me into the sport. And got to thank Matt Johnson for helping me out on the last minute spotting. So,
well, we're glad you're here, and clearly you have got the hang of it. So great job of driving. We'll look for you down the road here. You're not done yet.
Thanks, Nick. Good luck in the final heat. It looks like, by our calculations, you sit 6th place right here, and you're locked in the consolation. So, looks like Ben Dell and DJ Miller could leapfrog you. But we'll see you down the road, Nick. Thanks for coming up.
well, thanks.
So, as we take a look at our scorecard here, we have Quentin Miller, Kelsey Best, Eddie Canfouche, and Scott Przybylski all locked into the final before this final Heat 3C, Brad. DJ Miller's position is still pending, and so is Ben Dowell's position. That is still pending. So the two people that can throw a wrench into somebody else's plans here are the U440 Bucket List Racing 2 with Bo Rarig and the U11 J&Ds with Ben Dowell. They still have a shot to get in the final here because TJ Serwinski and Mickey Washburn are locked into the consolation.
Well, and I loved what you said said when we were speaking after one of the preliminary heats a couple of heats ago, you said it all looks so good on paper, but there's a reason why we go out and run these things on the water. And now we are going to go out. It is our final preliminary heat. It is Heat 3C. And as you just so appropriately explained, Tate, this is going to determine our final field and who will race for the Madison Regatta Trophy and all the spoils that go with it. It is our H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series. We're coming to you virtually from Madison, Indiana, and our racing series is presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Tate, when you got a countdown, let's jump in. Let's find out who this final field is going to include.
Getting a countdown here, Brad, to Heat 3C. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Heat 3C underway.
Inside 4 minutes, make it 3 minutes and 52 seconds until the start. You're looking down on the pit area here in Madison, Indiana. If you have never been to Madison, Indiana, the virtual pictures you see here are very, very indicative of what it's like. It's a narrow spot in the river. The pit area is right on the front straightaway. If you have the opportunity to go visit that boat race, you should do it. It's an awful lot of fun, and there's a lot of history there. Let's take a look at the boats that will compete in our Heat 3C. As Tate Meyer said, Ben Dowell in the U11 J&Ds is going to have something to say about who gets to run in the front row of the final. Ben Dowell is a competitor. He wants to put the U11 out front. Ben from Nashville, Tennessee. The U3 Go 3 Racing Griggs Ace Hardware. The boat is driven by TJ Serwinski from Tonawanda, New York. Everybody loves piston power, and TJ can drive this one extremely well. He too looking for a solid finish here in our Heat 3C. It's our last preliminary. TJ Serwinski driving the U3 Griggs Ace Hardware. The boat predominantly red, and you can't miss that piston engine. Here is our winner from 2 weeks ago down in Guntersville, Alabama. Not having the day today that he had a couple of weeks ago, but it's Bo Rarig driving the U440 Bucket List Racing 2. Bo, 28 years of age, calls home to Monroe, Washington, up on the Stevens Pass Highway. He is a very accomplished driver, as we all saw 2 weeks ago. He could have some fun and be a big spoiler in this one as well. Rounding out our field is the U48, the Lake Ridge Paving. The boat is predominantly white, got checkers black and white on the fairings. The boat is driven by 42-year-old Mickey Washburn out of Pasco, Washington. And you see what he sees right now, which is the U3, the piston-powered boat going right past him there on the outside. But beside that, nobody was in front of him. Now here comes Ben Dowell in the J&Ds. This is an exciting part of the race, Tate. We've had fun with it all day. Let's see what happens here in our Heat 3C.
Looks like Ben Dowell is going to try to get lane one for Mickey Washburn. And again, Ben Dowell is not locked into the final or the consolation, but Mickey Washburn is locked into the consolation along with TJ Serwinski. So we'll see what they do here in terms of jockeying for position here with 20 seconds. Looks like the other boats are lagging back a bit.
Coming up on 12 seconds until the start. You see there, Ben Dowell starts to accelerate. Got Washburn just behind him and to the right. Here comes Bo Rarig in lane number 3. It's going to be piston power on the outside. We're 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. And it looked to be clean from here. We'll wait till the officials tell us this. And look at TJ Serwinski on the outside. Now, he may not be able to come over to lane 1, but he's going to try and maybe move over on Bo Rarig. I don't think he's got enough room, and no, he does not. He pulls his foot out of it. We won't have anybody leapfrogging up the backstretch. I thought maybe Serwinski was going to make a left-hand turn there, Tate, but he decided, nope, he didn't have quite enough.
Didn't have quite enough, and again, he's locked into the constellation as well. So there's really nothing to be gained or lost here with making that wise decision. Putting your boat, finishing a heat with your sponsors on your boat and getting your sponsors out there. So 20 seconds of the come off the upper end of the race course, Brad. Watch what Bo Rarig does, trying to time the heat. Time to start to the heat and bend down in lane 1.
Yeah, Bo's going to come down in lane number 3. Dowell is in 1. Washburn is in 2. We're 5 seconds. Here they come. Speed, accelerate to the start. We're 2 seconds. 1 second. mark. Racing in Heat 3C here. Bo Rarig was a little bit late at the start, but he's got good boat speed. But he's going to be the fourth boat getting down here to the corner. And Ben Dowell in lane number 1's got lane position and position on the water. He's going to get down to the corner first. If he can get through there clean, he should have a good run down the backstretch. Everybody is in his right side rear view mirror. Ben Dowell in the U11 J&Ds looking strong up the backstretch on lap number 1, Tate.
He's looking very strong, and he's got that buffer in between him and Bo Rarig in lane 1 and lane 3. So we'll see if Ben can keep the skid fin hooked up here in the upper end of the race course. Everybody fans out, gives us a good look at the rest of the field. Ben Dowell hits the exit pin first. He will come down to finish lap number 1 and start lap number 2 for the J&D's U11.
Lap number 1 of 3 in the book. It is Ben Dowell. If he looks in his right side rear view mirror, he's going to see all white Mickey Washburn, and just outside of him is bright orange of Bo Rarig. And you are right. Right now, Mickey Washburn is holding off Bo Rarig.
Bo Rarig just crashed into turn number 1.
So we have lost Bo Rarig. There you see the splash still in the air a little bit from his boat at the entrance to turn number 1. That was on lap number 2 of 3. So now it is all Ben Dowell in the U11 J&Ds. He's out there running by himself. Second place right now is Mickey Washburn in the all-white Lake Ridge paving. But Ben Dowell's just got to keep it clean, keep it on the water, Tate, and he'll pick up another 400 points.
He'll pick up another 400 points here. Put his 2 second-place finishes in his back pocket. It's going to look very good, locking himself into the final heat. We'll see what happened with Bo Rarig maybe after the heat. Looked like he just lost it on a wake there into turn number 1. But Ben Dowell putting the accelerator pedal down, flying up the backstretch. He's going to take first place if he can keep it together around the final turn.
And you see that parallel roller that Tate has been talking about the last 2 weeks. You see it right there. He has to negotiate those in that corner, and you can fall into one of those troughs. And the drivers have been telling us how difficult that can be, and the fact that that issue is exacerbated here on this tight course in Madison. But right now, it doesn't mean anything because Ben Dowell has seen a checkered flag here in our Heat 3C. He'll pick up 400 points. That's going to put him in our winner-take-all final heat. A great run for Ben Dowell. Second place is going to go to Mickey Washburn in the U48 Lake Ridge paving. Stayed in his mirrors the whole way, but unable to run down Ben Dowell. Third place will go to TJ Serwinski driving the piston-powered U3.
Yep, and unfortunately we got our last event winner, Bo Rarig, lose it into turn number 1. No call on that incident. Unfortunate for Bo, as he's going to be now in the consolation heat. And we have Ben Dowell in the announcers booth. Ben, you got lane 1. You kept that advantage all the way around the course. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to thank J&D's, Shannon and Scott Rainey, for giving me the opportunity to drive their boat virtually. Also, Washington Angels Foster Care for sponsoring the event, Jesse Stitches and Atomic Screen Printing.
Well, you needed points. You needed a strong finish. You can't do much better than first place and 400 points. And as Tate said, you grabbed the inside lane. We've seen it all day. That is absolutely key here on this tight Madison race course.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I tried to play conservative the first couple heats and let whoever have lane 1. I figured a couple second places would get me in. I was wrong in thinking that, and I needed to come out and get 400 points. And luckily, you know, me and Mickey had a little fight there, but I ended up with lane 1, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. It's in the rearview mirror, but now you know what comes up next. But it's why you race. You want to get yourself in the final. You've got yourself enough points. Now it's winner take all, and you get to go 5 times around this time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can have a good clean heat, grab an inside lane, and have some fun.
We'll go take a break. We've got a consolation heat to run before the final, so go catch your breath. Good luck in the final heat, my friend.
Thanks, Brad.
There you go. So we mentioned a consolation heat. Tate Meyer, explain to our fans what we're going to do for the boats who have not yet made their way into the final heat. How do we go about determining who our trailer boat will be?
For the boats who have not made the final, and those boats who have made the final would be Quentin Miller in the U12 Graham Trucking, Kelsey Best in the U6 Miss Home Street, Eddie Canfouche in the U1 Bucket List Racing 1, Ben Dowell in the U11 J&Ds, and Scott Przybylski in the U7 Boitana Home Spirit of Detroit. They have all scored above 1,000 points, matter-of-factly, but they are the top 5, more importantly, that get onto the front line in the Madison Regatta final heat. The next 5 are DJ Miller in the Strong Racing number 1, Nick Kish in Strong Racing number 2, the U9, Matt Johnson in the U98, Graham Trucking American Dream, Mickey Washburn in the U48, and TJ Serwinski in the U3 Griggs Ace Hardware. So as we get everybody queued up for the provisional heat here, Brad, only one gets out of the provisional heat, and they get the honor, I guess, of being the trailer boat on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana.
Is that what it is? It's an honor to do that. I think I heard one unlimited driver at one point being a trailer boat in a final heat of racing's akin to being a BB in a washing machine. You talk about how rough it can get in the corners. That's when you're out front. Imagine when you are the 6th boat going down and you go in behind everybody. It will definitely be tough, and we always feel obliged to say this at one point. We have had boats from the trailer position win an H1 Unlimited final heat. Doesn't happen very often, but it could, so we'll leave that door open.
We'll leave that door open, and as we get our drivers ready for the provisional heat, again, it's going to be very, very rough. We're having an extra boat onto the front line in our provisional heat. We have Strong Racing 89, Graham Trucking American Dream, Lake Ridge Paving, U3 Griggs Ace Hardware. Brad, we're getting a countdown from our officials. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Provisional heat on deck.
We will go 3 times around the race course here. It is our provisional, and sometimes in provisional heat racing, we scramble to get enough boats to run. Not the case here. We will have enough boats to fill out the field, and it will be very competitive. You are riding on board here with DJ Miller in the U8 Strong Racing. DJ, 23 years of age, 23. He hails from Mercer Island, Washington. Would love to get another victory here for Daryl and Vanessa Strong. Here's his teammate here. This is Nick Kish. This is the black boat. The other one is the red boat. This is Strong Racing entry number 2. The boat is number U9. Nick Kish drives. He was a winner the last time out. He's 32 years of age. He calls home in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Nick Kish doing a fine job driving for Daryl and Vanessa Strong in the U9. Here's Mickey Washburn. He drives the U48, the Lake Ridge Paving. The boat is predominantly white. It does have black and white checkers on the fairings behind the turbine engine. Mickey Washburn calls home in Pasco, Washington. You see him pull up alongside the 3 boats that got down to the corner before him. I think he's just going to cruise on through. Still 2 minutes and 35 seconds till our start. You're on board now with TJ Zerwinski, the Go3 Racing, the Miss Ace Hardware, the Griggs Ace Hardware, U3 Piston Power, TJ Zerwinski, young man out of Tonawanda, New York. You see what he sees there as Nick Kish goes by on the outside, driving the Strong Racing number 2 entry. And now you're on board with Matt Johnson, the U98, the Graham Trucking American Dream. The day did not go the way Matt Johnson had certainly hoped. He started out on such a high note, driving the patriotic red, white, and blue boat. He started out as the day's top qualifier, but it didn't translate to a lot of success on the water. Matt would like to rectify that right now with a victory here. U98 Graham Trucking American Dream. You're on board there with, well, that was DJ Miller, but now you're looking at Nick Kish coming up on 40 seconds until the start. You see TJ Zerwinski in Piston Power looking down on the silver and black there of Nick Kish. 30 seconds until the start. It is our provisional heat. We are racing for a trailer spot in the final.
Trailer spot in the final. Get your sponsor's name read in the final heat, Brad. That's what they're shooting for here. You got to start 5 seconds back of the starting gun as they pick up their rooster tails. We got 10 seconds. You see TJ Serwinski trying to leapfrog the field around the turn. Again, lane 1 is going to be key. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Looks very, very clean. We'll wait for the word on the officials. Clean score up. Clean score up. It looks like Mickey Washburn is going to lose his advantage, though, in lane 1. Looks like DJ Miller is going to have overlap, Brad.
Yeah, DJ Miller, is he going to move over? If he is, he better do it now, and he did. Now, this may be the chance here where you not only lose lane 1, you lose lane 1 and 2. As you see, Mickey Washburn had to move from lane 1 to lane 3 because when he got to the outside and into lane 2, he found Matt Johnson in the red, white, and blue boat already there. So that was a double-edged loss there for Mickey Washburn. He could not hold lane 1. He lost 2 lanes in the process. And up at the top end of the race course, DJ Miller's going to sit on the inside. Matt Johnson, red, white, and blue, is going to be in lane number 2. Then it's going to be Mickey Washburn in the white Lake Ridge paving. Got 9 seconds to go. Coming on the outside, it's going to be TJ Zerwinski. Coming up on 5 seconds to the start. Want to hit the line full bore. We're 2 seconds, 1 second. Mark, and we are racing here in our provisional heat for the final heat to try and win your way in. It's the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care, and a lot of speed on the outside from Nick Kish. He's going to get down to the corner first. Zerwinski had a hard time holding his lane. He got wet trying to drive down the hallway in there in the tunnel, but coming off the corner, it's going to be very competitive, and our top qualifier, Matt Johnson, has got about 4 boat lengths lead, but he's got strong racing in the left side mirror and strong racing in the right side mirror. He's got double trouble going right now, Tate.
Double trouble he has. Now we saw Quentin Miller, his teammate, be able to pull off this feat of winning from lane 2, but he took a lot out of the boat and a lot out of him to accomplish. So we'll see if Matt Johnson, as he crosses the start-finish line to start lap 2, looks like Nick Kish is fading back. We'll see if Matt Johnson can hold off DJ Miller for all 3 laps, Brad.
Yep, all of a sudden it is definitely a race out front. Now watch Matt. He'll hold him in tight here. He's going to hold DJ Miller in tight, make him hold that number 1 lane. He's able to do it. So he had a tight corner to go through down there at the lower end of the race course. He was able to handle it, but he still trails by a couple of boat lengths. And as you said earlier, Tate, he's on the inside lane, but it's difficult when he trails going into the corner. If he could get even or get a little bit of a lead on Matt, he could dictate the corner himself. Here he is on that tight corner at the top end of the race course. Matt giving him a lane and not much more. And so far, DJ been able to handle it. We've got literally a 1.5 boat length lead here for Matt Johnson, our top qualifier. Good racing here in our provisional. Again, the winner of this heat will enter the final heat from the trailer position. Lower end of the race course here is the final lap, Tate. This backstretch and top end of the race course is going to tell us who's going to join our final field.
It's going to be the deciding factors. You see those parallel rollers up the backstretch, Brad. Matt Johnson just contended with one. Here's DJ contending with the other. He's flapping the front wing, trying to get the boat settled down as he sets up for the final turn. We'll see if Matt Johnson holds him tight and tries to get the acceleration off the final corner to win this heat, Brad.
Yeah, this is going to be very important up here. And look at the inside lane. DJ Miller's pulled up alongside Matt Johnson. Oh, and he pulled up alongside and on top of Matt Johnson. We had definite collision there between the 2 boats. Matt Johnson has been able, oh my goodness, now we've had both strong racing boats come together here on the front straightaway. There was an accident between the 2. Oh my goodness, as DJ Miller, whose boat I don't believe ever went upside down, so he was trying to restart and get a finish. Unfortunately, collided with his teammate Nick Kish, made for an ugly situation. TJ Zerwinski was able to get by both boats and come home in second place. Bottom line to the whole thing, our winner of our provisional heat, U98 Graham Trucking American Dream, our top qualifier, Matt Johnson, will make his way into the final. Tate, have you ever seen anything quite like that?
A few Saturday nights when we're playing around on Hydro Sim, I have, but not in a real heat, definitely. But DJ just had a little unfortunate, went too wide, and got into Matt's rooster tail, and ran into his teammate after the fact. So I haven't seen anything like that, Brad. But again, this is a fun Hydro Sim video game to play, and we see firsts all the time. So as we add up our points, the points have been added up. We'll take one last look here at our points for the weekend, and we will get our final heat boats into the water. We got U1 Bucket List Racing with Eddie Canfouche. U6, Miss Home Street, Kelsey Best. U7, Boitano Holmes, Scott Przybylski. U11, J&D's, Ben Dowell. U12, Graham Trucking with Quentin Miller. And the trailer boat is going to be Matt Johnson, getting 2 Graham Trucking boats into the final for his sponsor, Rob Graham. Brad, if we know anything about the last event's final heat in Guntersville, this event is sure to give us a barn burner.
Yes, I'm sure it will, and we need to remind our fans that all of our preliminary heats that we have been running so far today have all been of the 3-lap variety. We are now going to run 5 laps, so the water is even going to get rougher. And again, we've talked all day about points. Those points get you into the final heat. But once you are one of those 6 boats that Tate Meyer just mentioned, and we'll show them all to you again, this is a winner-take-all final. Regardless of how many points you have, you're in the final. You win the final, you get the big trophy at the end of the day. And it is the Madison Regatta. It is a prestigious trophy here on the Ohio River. And we got 6 boats, and I know 6 guys that really would love to win this thing.
We got 6 boats who can absolutely win it. Matt Johnson has won a Hydrosim race from the trailer position before, so do not count him out. Now it's going to be 5 or 6 boats. We're going to add 5 on the front line. It's going to be 5 laps. It's going to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so they're going to have to contend with the Madison, Indiana evening lighting as well, Brad, as we're coming up to a countdown for the final heat of the 2021 E-League Madison Regatta. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 4 minutes, Brad.
4 minutes. 4 minutes to the start of our winner-take-all final heat. Not only do the boats go an extra 2 laps in our final heat, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, we have, instead of 4 boats in this heat, we have 5 on the front row and a trailer. So instead of 4 boats, we have 6. Instead of 3 laps, we go 5. All that translates into a much rougher race course. Let's take a look at the 6 boats competing in the Madison Regatta virtual final heat. The U11, the J&D's Ben Dowell, after a terrific run in his final preliminary heat, finds his way into the final heat. Ben driving the J&D's, the U11, he from Nashville, Tennessee, formerly from Tacoma, Washington. Here's a guy to keep an eye on. The U1, our defending national high points champion, bucket list racing, Fast Eddie Canfouche out of Grand Island, New York. This 18-year-old can really handle his race boat. You can see what he's doing now. He's parked himself in lane 1. Kelsey Best says, thanks so much. I will go down there in my powder blue and white Miss Home Street, the U6, and jump right in front of Eddie. Kelsey from Mesa, Arizona will pilot the powder blue and white Miss Home Street. The red, white, and blue of Matt Johnson. You just saw him win an exciting provisional heat to get his spot in the final heat. Unfortunately, it is a difficult spot. He is the trailer boat. He needs to start 5 seconds behind the clock and everybody else. Matt Johnson driving the red, white, and blue U98 Graham Trucking American Dream. Speaking of Graham Trucking, here is the Graham Trucking, the U12, the bright red boat trimmed in black and silver, the boat driven by Quentin Miller out of Mercer Island, Washington. Quentin has been a winner on this series before. He would love nothing better to win here right now on the Ohio River. There we are, the U7 Boitano Holmes, Spirit of Detroit. The game's creator, Scott Przybylski, and he has created an incredible platform for racing here. We all owe him a debt of gratitude. But right now, this man would just like to put that bright red boat out in front of everybody. Can he do it? He's done it before. He was our winner last year in San Diego. 30 seconds until the start. Bring him to the 1-minute buoy, Tate Meyer.
We got 23 seconds. It looks like Scott Przybylski is going to go around. He's going to vacate lane number 1. That's going to give the opportunity to either Kelsey Best or Ben Dowell as they spool up. Let's see who claims lane 1. It looks like it's going to be Kelsey Best. Coming up to the 1-minute pin, Brad. We're 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Clean score up. Eddie Canfouche with a tremendous amount of acceleration in lane 4, Brad. I don't think he's going to come over on Quentin Miller. I don't think he has the boat speed to do it. And nobody else has boat speed to come over onto Kelsey Best's lane in lane number 1. So it's going to be Kelsey in 1, Ben in 2, Quentin in 3, Eddie in 4. And on the outside, it's going to be Scott Przbilski, Brad. Buckle up. Let's start this final heat.
Buckle up. Buckle up is exactly right. Eddie Canfouche gave it a go, but everybody was able to defend their lane. And once they get to that entrance buoy of the upper corner, whatever lane they are in, when they pass that buoy, that's the lane they must hold all the way to the start-finish line. Then standard overlap rules apply. We're still missing 2 other boats that are off to the left. They will come into the screen here shortly. But Kelsey Best has put himself in lane number 1 with 5 seconds until the start. Now it's a matter of your timing marks. You see Przbilski on the outside. 1 second. Mark, we're racing here in the final heat. And the first boat to break the clock is Eddie Canfouche in lane number 4, driving a bucket list racing the U1. But he's got a lot of speed, as I like to say, off to his left. And it's going to get tight down here in lane 1. Holy cow, Dowell got a little bit sideways and gave up a little bit of ground, but everybody's going to get through clean. Tate, they all got through clean. And the guy who got through cleanest and best of all is Kelsey Best. He's driving the home street U6. He's got a little bit of a lead on Quentin Miller, and look at the speed on the outside. Eddie Canfouche is flying the orange boat on the outside. Remember, we go 5 times around, Tate.
5 times around, Brad. On the end of lap 1, it is Kelsey Best with a rooster tail lead, as you saw Ben Dowell struggle to maintain his turn in turn number 2, and Quentin Miller catches up and takes lane 2. We'll see if Quentin has any boat speed or Eddie has any boat speed to go around Kelsey Best from the outside. But as we've seen all day, Brad, it's a very, very tall order, and you got to have a perfect turn around these tight Madison turns and a lot of acceleration at the backstretch, as you see Eddie Canfouche going up to and maybe getting into Quentin Miller's rooster tail, but it's Kelsey Best up the backstretch with a rooster tail lead.
Kelsey Best is driving the daylights out of that Miss Home Street, the U6. The boat was a winner here a year ago. He'd love nothing more than to back it up with another victory here in 2021 on the virtual H1 Unlimited E-Series, presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. We are on lap number 2 of 5. They put 2 in books, and now we will get into lap number 3. It has been Kelsey Best since they got down into the first turn on lap number 1. It is still Kelsey Best as they get down to the lower end of the race course, and Quentin Miller made a move to the inside, but he's not going to be able to hold it down there. He was trying to find his way to an inside lane and maybe sneak up on Kelsey Best, but he couldn't do it. Kelsey, again, holds on to that full rooster tail up the backstretch on lap number 3 of 5, Tate.
Yeah, Kelsey gave enough room for Quentin to dive inside, but again, you got to keep your boat hooked up as he goes to the inside again, and he's within Kelsey's rooster tail. Let's see if he can hold lane 1. Doesn't look like it. Kelsey Best is going to have the overlap again and is going to dictate which lane Quentin runs in here as they start lap number 4, Brad. And remember, Eddie Canfouche is just a rooster tail behind these two.
Yeah, now watch this corner down here. We'll see how Kelsey wants to play it, if he wants to leave lane 1 open, and he is right now. But Quentin is back into his rooster tail. He's just packing too much speed in there, but he knows he has to try and run down Kelsey Best in the Miss Home Street. Home Street up the backstretch with a full rooster tail lead on the U12 Graham Trucking and Quentin Miller. Quentin Miller is driving the daylights out of that boat, doing everything possible to move up on Kelsey Best, but so far he's been unable to do it. And he's running out of time here as they're going to come down and complete lap number 4 with 1 more to go. We go 5 times around. Kelsey Best will put number 4 in the books right now. Quentin Miller does the same, and they are on the final lap. He's got 2 more corners and a backstretch to negotiate. He being Kelsey Best, and the Miss Home Street will bring home a 2nd year in a row with a victory on the Ohio River in Madison. Now this time, Quentin was able to hold the inside lane better. He's got a better position coming up the backstretch this time than he did before. Tate, this is going to be interesting at the top end of the race course.
Very interesting. Quentin Miller's within a rooster tail. Kelsey cannot come over onto Quentin Miller's lane here in the final turn of the final lap of the Madison Regatta in our 2021 E-League. Quentin Miller sets it up for the turn. He's about half a rooster tail back as they come off the exit pin, Brad. It's Kelsey Best with a half a rooster tail lead, and he's going to take the win here in Madison, Indiana for the hometown race team at Madison, Indiana and Home Street Bank. Kelsey Best does a great job with fending off Quentin Miller's charge here at the end of the heat. Wow, what a heat.
A great drive by Kelsey Best in the Miss Home Street, but Quentin Miller, he just would not go away. He kept getting beat up trying to get on that inside lane. He was getting wet. The water was rough. He had a hard time holding his line, but he was able to on lap number 5, and therefore he made an extremely close finish with Kelsey Best. One of the more exciting finishes, and look at that right there as Eddie Canfouche goes right up alongside Kelsey Best and says, "Nice racing, my friend. You got me that time. I'll see you in 2 weeks."
Kelsey Best joins us in the announcer's booth from the cockpit of the Miss Home Street, the U6. Kelsey gave enough of a lane in the final turn, but you saw Quentin was only a half roost still back coming off the final exit pin. How was that from your point of view?
First off, I just got to let out a woohoo! Oh man, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, this final race, like I said earlier in the day, the wakes proved to be very difficult. And yeah, I had wakes all over. I was trying to find the clean water, and on that last lap, I was kind of right on a wake, and Quentin had some clean water, so I knew he was going to make it up, and I just tried to get through that last corner smooth and then book it to the finish line. But feels great, obviously, to do it here in Madison again. It's just a special place, racing for the Miss Madison team and citizens of Madison, Indiana. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity, and just really, really happy.
I've got to think, Kelsey, that if at the beginning of the year we said, okay, you can win one event this year, I got to think this is the one you'd like to win, considering the boat you're driving.
Oh, of course, hands down. It's fortunately for me one of the courses I feel the most comfortable at, and I really enjoy. I'm racing on it, the starts and all of it, but it doesn't make it any easier, because all it takes is one little mistake. At the 1 minute pin, I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. Fortunately, just how it worked out, had a bunch of people playing pick on the overlap, and was able to stay in lane 1 and then hit a good enough start to get a clean turn 1.
Well, you may not have been where you wanted to be at the 1 minute buoy, but I think you were exactly where you wanted to be at the end of 5 laps. Kelsey, congratulations. I know this means a lot to you to win the Madison Regatta, driving the boat that is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. The Powder Blue loves this race course. It's clear that you do as well. Congratulations, young man.
Thank you both. And again, I just want to say thanks again to our sponsors, Angel of Washington, for helping sponsor this event. Obviously, Home Street Bank, for being such a big part of this sport, and supporting these events as well, and as well as Jesse Stitches, Atomic Screen Printing, APBA, Scott Przbilski. Like I said, he was a spotter for a lot of the day. Had just a great day racing with a bunch of these guys, and it's really special.
Well, congratulations again, Kelsey, and Brad. He drove a heck of a race. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we had a great day of racing here. We had a lot of racing today. We had the extra C section in each one of our 3 racing sections right there, 1A, B, and C in each section, so it meant for a lot of racing. The racing was extremely competitive. That is one of the things about this E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. If you want to see deck-to-deck and bow-to-bow racing, you've come to the right place. These guys put that show on every single week. This is good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Would like to take this opportunity one more time to talk about the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series and our sponsors. The racing today, as it has been in the past, was brought to you by Spokane Angels Foster Care. With 3 locations in Spokane, Seattle, and Olympia, Washington, Spokane Angels, where they wrap community around children, youth, and families experiencing foster care. Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish in Washington since 1990. And the American Powerboat Association. H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association, head on over to www.apba.org. That's apba.org. And also by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery in Kennewick, Washington, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products since 1998. Tate Meyer, another great day of racing here, this time on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana. Any closing comments you'd like to make before we sign off for the day?
It's a fantastic day of racing, Brad. I had a lot of fun here along with you calling the race again for the second race in a row. Next event out in Tri-Cities, Washington in 2 weeks here at noon Pacific is when we're going to kick it off. All new build of Hydrosim being debuted. You're going to see a lot more variety in both setups and physics, and it's going to be a whole new ball game as the fleet rolls into virtual Kennewick, Washington for the Columbia Cup.
We will definitely look forward to it. Tate Meyer, thank you very much. It's a pleasure working with you. I'd like to give a special thanks to our producers and engineers today. They include Jared and, again, Tate Meyer. Yes, once again, he did double duty. Also, a special thanks to Emily and Shannon Rainey for all of their hard work behind the scenes. It is that hard work that you don't see that really helps to make this broadcast possible. One last time, congratulations to our 2021 Madison Regatta champion. It is Kelsey Best, driver of the Miss Home Street. And as Tate Meyer just said, 2 weeks from now, our racing will shift out west to the Columbia River and the Tri-Cities of Washington. I know I will be there. We hope you will be too. From Madison, Indiana, and on behalf of my partner Tate Meyer, this is Brad Luce saying so long, everyone.